Hello and welcome to Token Trader TV. I'm your host, Kalen Huntress. Today's the 20th of October, and the big news this week was Bitcoin had a huge move up. This is the weekly candle close. Today we're going to talk about the Web3 headlines that had an impact on the market. I'll share with you some analysis of the Bitcoin chart and some other altcoins. We'll hear from Trading Lab about how we may have been thinking about support and resistance all wrong, and I'll give you some education on how to set a take profit and a stop loss. But first, disclaimer. I am an amateur. This is not advice. It is entertainment. Do your own research. Make good choices. The only reason I'm doing these videos is because I want to teach my kids about crypto trading. So if you'd like to learn with us, come along. So the big move this week was with Bitcoin. Bitcoin had a huge move up this week, and the reason was because of this fake tweet that was put out by Cointelegraph. This turned out to not be true. They tweeted the breaking news that SEC had approved the iShares Bitcoin spot ETF. And immediately within the hour, people took to Twitter and said, well, actually, no, that's not true, which was not bad news. You know, first Bitcoin pumped on the ETF approval news, and then turns out the news was fake, but Bitcoin keeps its gains. You know, we're looking at the weekly chart here. And if I flip over to the daily chart, you can see what happened on that day. We've really just got a big spike up on that day. If I go down to the hourly, you can see, like, if we go really close, the closer that you go, you can see how fast this really was. On Twitter, I posted a screenshot of the 15-minute chart on Bitcoin. It sneezed a local high with rumors of an ETF approval. And on the 15-minute chart here, look at that. It went way up, and then it came down. But it stayed up, which was great news. Now, this really rocked the markets this week. As Borovic said on Twitter, Cointelegraph tweets, Bitcoin ETF approved. Bitcoin pumped to nearly $30,000. A Cointelegraph intern profited $2.25 million on Rollbit, and Cointelegraph deleted the tweet. Now, I don't know if this is legit, if Rollbit actually, this is just what somebody posted on Twitter. Keep in mind, you know, do your own research. Not all of this is true, but it's made for some good memes. In my client's defense, he was trying to make it all back in one trade. But my favorite was what Sherlock Hoddles posted of the Cointelegraph intern arriving home after he got fired to all of this cash. The CEO of BlackRock, Larry Fink, he was on Fox Business News on Monday, on the day of this spike. And what he said was really interesting. He said that what this showed was the pent-up demand, or the pent-up interest in crypto, and that he's hearing from clients around the world about the need for crypto. And he said, I think the rally today is about a flight to quality. People are wanting quality investments, and Bitcoin is seen as one of those. If we could get regulation, we'll probably see a lot of institutional movement into it. There was an article in The Block which projected that Bitcoin price could rise to $56,000 if the BlackRock ETF is approved. This was from Matrixport, which is a financial services platform. And they had an analysis of 15,000 US registered investment advisors. And they projected that between $12 to $24 billion worth of inflow would happen into a Bitcoin ETF if Bitcoin's ETF was approved by the SEC. As soon as institutional money can safely move into Bitcoin, there will be a large volume of capital moving into it, and we should see the price increase because when there are more buyers, the price will go up. Now, it's not all rosy news out there. Reddit has killed its crypto community points tokens, and holders are dumping their bags. This is from Decrypt.co. They said that Reddit is removing its blockchain tokens due to regulatory and resourcing concerns. These were the two big reasons, is the regulations and the resources it took to maintain this. Some of their tokens were the Moon token and the Brick token, and these were ERC20 tokens that were minted on the Ethereum network originally and then moved to Arbitrum Nova. Might sound complicated, but here's what you need to know, is that there were tokens that were given to people who participated in specific subreddits. If you were in the R cryptocurrency subreddit, for liking and commenting, you earned a Moon token. And the Fortnite BR subreddit gave you the Brick token. And these tokens were down 84 to 59% after this announcement because now the use is gone. So this is bad news for the crypto market. Some good news is that FTX has proposed returning up to 90% of customer funds. From CoinDesk, they published this in their daily newsletter First Mover. And for everyone who had less than $250,000 invested in FTX, it looks like they may be able to get up to 90% back. So that's good news. After the FTX crash, a lot of people lost their capital. And people, if you had any real USD stablecoin, you might be having a hard time today. This week, it depegged. And when a stablecoin depegged, it means it loses its one-to-one ratio with the US dollar. The real USD stablecoin was backed by real estate holdings. And as you can see in this chart here, it's supposed to stay at about $1, and then it plummeted to less than 50 cents. There was a lot of redemptions. It looks like they had a lot of collateral in DAI, which is another stable coin, but they also were collateralized by their own token. They were listing USDR as collateral for the stable coin. So unfortunately, it looks like that stable coin is no longer solvent. It may change. It may regain its peg, in which case buying it at 50 cents could be a profitable trade if it went that way. Cointelegraph also reported, despite their fake tweet, Cointelegraph has some really good news. And they linked to some information that the US government is probably the largest Bitcoin holder, holding more than $5 billion of Bitcoin. And these came from the three largest Bitcoin seizures since 2020, Silk Road, the Bitfinex hack, and the James Zhang seizure in March of 22, January of 22, and November of 2020. When the US government seizes Bitcoin, it holds on to it. And right now, they have more than $5 billion in Bitcoin. So let's look at the Bitcoin chart and see where we are today. Coming back to the weekly chart, we can see that we definitely had a strong move up. That fake news that the spot ETF was approved, that gave us a really big move up. And I think it's good that we had it because we came up above a significant line of resistance. We're now at new highs that we haven't been trading in since August, mid-August. So this is 2 months later, we've reached new highs and it looks like we're staying above it. So Bitcoin is really healthy in terms of its price action. This could be interpreted as a bull flag. We've moved up and now we're consolidating before potentially another move up. The next line of resistance would be at 30,000. Ethereum has been, as you know, all altcoins travel in the wake of Bitcoin. And what we like to see is if they follow along, but Ethereum is still trading in this downsloping channel. Ethereum is below its 200-day moving average. The chart's not looking very good. Unfortunately, Ethereum just isn't a very healthy looking chart at the time. XRP is keeping its line of support at 47 cents. And it had a minor bump. On this candle right here, it wasn't very big on the news of Bitcoin, but it's been moving up pretty strong the last couple of days. It's gotten some good news in the case. Today, the charges were dropped against Brad Garlinghouse. The SEC dropped its charges against a lot of the executives in XRP, so that's probably why we're seeing this rally. The best altcoin chart I've seen over this last week has been Solana. Solana kept a lot of the gains it got from the Bitcoin pump. You know, when Bitcoin goes up, a lot of other coins and altcoins, they go up with it because they follow in its wake. But as we saw with Ethereum and XRP, they didn't keep those gains, but Solana did. Solana's now broken the highs from earlier this month. It's been doing really great. So I'm seeing this as a really healthy chart. Now, if you're trading in tokens, you also need to know what's happening in other parts of the market. Gold has been on quite a rally recently. And you remember how Larry Fink was talking about how there's a flight to quality? People are investing in what they see as safe assets because of the rise in violence in Israel and the talk of war around the world. This flight to quality means that people are investing in what they perceive as safe investments. And a lot of people perceive gold as the safest investment. It hit this line of support down here at $1,818, and then it's just been moving up ever since for about 10 days. The dollar is doing okay. It's been kind of languishing this week, but the big news has been in the US 10-year yield. The 10-year yield broke its previous highs. It just barely tagged 5%. And the yield represents some of the largest pool of liquidity in the market. And so if you're trading in tokens, it's important to know how much money is going into yields, because if there's more money in yields, there's less money for risky assets like altcoins. And so as the yield goes up, you could see interest in altcoins go down because they could be negatively correlated. So that's everything with the charts today. What I'd like to do next is showcase a great video I saw this week from Trading Lab that was looking at support and resistance and how we could be thinking of it a little bit wrong.
You have been using support and resistances wrong this whole entire time. A common mistake by most traders is placing way too many support and resistances, marking weak levels that aren't likely to hold. This is how you fix that. An easy way to mark strong levels before the market opens is marking the previous day high, previous day low, pre-market high, and pre-market low. This will ensure you're only looking at the key levels for that day. But another common problem is that traders will just blindly trade around these levels. It's important you watch the price action near these levels and make sure you're getting confirmation at these specific levels. So here we have one of our levels, and price is starting to show strength and is giving confirmation that it will respect this level, which gives us confirmation we can enter a trade and set our take profit at the next highest level for some easy profit.
So I like what he says here about support and resistance, that it's not just something to bounce off of, it's something to aspire to. So let's take a look at how you can set a take profit and a stop loss. You know, when he was showing that video, you saw him do some green and red shapes. And if you've never used these in TradingView before, I'm here on the daily Bitcoin chart, and I'm going to use one of their tools to make a long position. Now, if you have your broker attached to TradingView, you can actually execute the trade based on the levels that you specify in using this. But a lot of times, if you have a broker in a separate plan or a separate platform, it's good to just use this to plan what your trades are and to figure out what your levels are. So let's say I think that Bitcoin is going to do a double top. It's going to go up to the same level that it had before, because that's where I see resistance, is right below 30,000. This green box here, this tells me how far do I go before I take profit. The red box on the bottom is where do I set my stop loss. If the trade goes down this far, then it means that my hypothesis for the direction this trade is going to go is wrong and I need to exit the trade. And you notice how as I change this, there's a number in the center that changes. If I move it up, then it gets to 2 to 3 to 4. That's the risk reward ratio. If I have it set at 2, it means that my reward is twice as much as my risk. And so I'm going to take profit twice as much as what I risk, depending on the amount of leverage, by looking at a trade and saying, okay, I'm going to enter it at this point, and I'm going to take profit at this specified point, and I'm going to decide this in advance. And you can actually, when you're making a trade in your broker, you can set this at the same time you set the trade. I'm going to buy it at this level, I'm going to sell it at a profit at this higher level, or I'm going to sell it at a loss at this other level. You set the stop loss and the take profit at the same time that you make the trade, and that way you don't have to think about it. You put in your hypothesis, you set your targets for taking profit and stopping loss, and then you can leave it. And if the market happens to hit those levels, then the trades will execute at the prices that you specify. So thanks for joining me for another episode of Token Trader TV. I hope some of this information has helped you to make better and more profitable trades in the future. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. I'd appreciate your support so I can keep making content like this for you. And I'd love it if you left a comment with the answer to this question. Which altcoin do you think could go 100x? Is there an altcoin that you think could increase its price 100 times greater than it is today? Leave a comment and let me know.